Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be checking out a $68 foundation. Yes, $68. This is the new Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. So I'm going to show you my first impression applying this foundation, and I also did a mini wear test on it, and I'm going to show y'all why I think this $68 foundation is well worth the price tag. So let's jump right into it. Okay, y'all, it's early in the morning and I ain't had no coffee yet, so bear with me, okay? Okay, first of all, thank you so much to Influencer for sending me this. They sent me a complimentary bottle to test out and review, so thank you for that. Let's go over some of the claims on the foundation. I'm going to be reading some information off of the website. It says silky, luxurious, and weightless, mother's first ever foundation. It's supposed to have a serum soft feel to the touch while delivering controlled, easily buildable coverage. It's designed to help fight the formation of wrinkles. It has diamond core powder technology, sounds fancy, and it's supposed to improve skin texture, optically smoothing and blurring the appearance of fine lines and imperfection. It comes in 36 shades and 5 shade levels. So the shade levels are light, medium, deep, and deep, and I will see if I can find a picture of the shade range to insert it right here. Pat McGrath is also coming out with a Sublime Perfection primer and Sublime Perfection setting powder, but I was only sent the foundation. Everything is going to be launching on July 26th, and the foundation will retail for $68, and I believe it's launching only online on July 26th. Okay, so let's start with the packaging. This is the box that the foundation comes in, and I think it's really pretty. And then you open it like so. And this is the bottle of the foundation. It feels very heavy. It feels very luxurious. That typical frosted bottle. And here's an up close of the label on the front. When you open it up, it does have a nice pump to it. It kind of reminds me of the Estee Lauder foundation. So I was sent the shade Medium Deep 28. And just looking at it in the bottle, we're going to be comparing this to my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. So I hope you guys can get a feel for the color of the Pat McGrath foundation in the frosted bottle. It does look like a shade that I can definitely work with, but it may be a little too dark. And I'm just looking at the color of the shade range that they put on the box that the foundation came in. And I'm thinking by looking at this that maybe Medium Deep 25 might be a better shade for me. But even if this is too dark, I think it's something that I can make work on my skin tone. Okay, so before we start applying the foundation, let's do a couple of swatches. So I'm gonna swatch the Pat McGrath foundation up against the NYX one. I'm choosing this one because I think out of all the foundations I have, this one is the best match to my skin tone. So this one is in the shade Mahogany in the NYX foundation. Alright, so that is the NYX foundation in the shade Mahogany. Ooh, I poured out quite a bit. And oh yeah, this one is definitely darker. This is way darker. And then this is the Pat McGrath foundation, and again this one is in the shade 28. So y'all can see how the Mahogany foundation is a much better match to my skin tone. The Pat McGrath foundation, it is going to be dark on me, and I think, like I said, I think the shade 25 will work better for my skin tone. However, this is supposed to be a sheer to medium buildable coverage foundation. So I feel like it's supposed to have like a skin-like finish. It's not meant to be like a full coverage type foundation. So I feel like even though it is a little darker than what I would like, I think it'll still kind of blend into my skin pretty well. So let's start by taking a good amount. I need to take off my glasses, huh? I'm gonna do kind of like a full pump. I just couldn't pump it all out at one time because this foundation is kind of liquidy. And I'm going to be blending this out with my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation brush. I'm picking this brush because it is quite dense. So I feel like with a thin foundation like this one will help build up the coverage a little bit. So this one definitely has like it's really, it kind of just like glides on the skin. It does have like that silky feel to it. And yeah, you can definitely tell that it's darker than my skin tone, but I do feel like it's blending right into my skin. And I think it's given a good amount of coverage for how like thin and liquidy it is. If you've ever tried the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude, I think it's called Double Wear Nude Water Fresh Foundation, that's what this one is reminding me of. So I am going to go in with a little bit more, I think, but let me do the other side first. Actually, let me put a little bit more on this side first, just so that we can compare one side of my face with foundation to one side without. I know a lot of people, when they test out foundations, they like to apply it on one side of their face with a brush and the other side with a sponge. I don't do it that way. I normally just always apply thinner consistency foundations with a brush, and then thicker consistencies I just apply them with a sponge. So I feel like this one I would never use a sponge with this foundation. I just think it's a bit too liquidy for that. Alright, so this side of my face has the foundation on, this side does not, and you can definitely tell that this side is a lot darker, but you know, I think I can balance that out with highlighter and all of that. But just based on what I'm looking at so far, I think it gave a good amount of coverage for the amount of foundation that I use. I use like pretty much the same amount that I would use in any other foundation, and I feel like it did a pretty good job at covering up a lot of imperfections. I normally go for medium coverage anyway. I have a lot of like acne scarring and all of that on my skin, but I typically don't mind if that like shows through my foundation just for like everyday wear. I will normally only try to do like maybe like a flawless coverage if I'm doing like, you know, a special occasion type look, but for everyday, this is the type of coverage that I would wear. I really like it so far. It has like a luminosity to it, but it doesn't feel all that dewy on the skin. And I think it just, even though it's darker, so we're not really gonna concern ourselves with the color too much because we know it's not quite the right shade, but I feel like it's making my skin look very kind of like healthy and radiant. So far I do really like it. All right, I'm gonna quickly do the foundation on the other side of my face. Okay, so here is my face covered with the foundation, and I hope that you can see a difference. I just applied it on this side of the face, and over here it's already starting to set. Can you tell that this side of my face is a little bit more dewy? I feel like it's setting down on this side to a really nice natural finish, and it's also looking just a little bit lighter over here as it's setting, which is a really good thing for me because the color of it is just a little too dark for me. But overall, I do really like it so far. I really like it. I am going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face with some concealer and all of that, and I am going to do that on camera just so that we can see how the rest of my complexion products are working with this foundation. So I think for today I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Born This Way concealer for highlighting like the center of my face. Lately I've been using my L'Oreal concealer because this one I think gives fuller coverage, but I feel like this might be more suitable to go with this foundation because it's going to be kind of like more of like a natural type finish on this foundation or concealer. So I'm going to be using the shade Mocha in this concealer. And I'm just going to use this under my eye. And I'm also going to put a little bit on my forehead and my chin, and just a little bit. And I always blend out my under eye concealer with this brush. I'm also putting some of this on my eyelids. I'll just use this as a lid primer today. I am going to work after I film this video, so I'm going to throw on some eyeshadow today just because now I'm feeling kind of luxurious with this foundation on, but I'm not going to be doing anything too fancy with my eyes. But now with this foundation, I just feel like doing it up. Alright, I'm going to take what's left on the brush, the concealer, and I'm just going to hit my chin and my forehead. I don't ever put product right here and then blend it out, because I feel like whenever I do that, I just end up putting too much, and then it's just harder for me to blend out. So I just take like the residual product and put down here. And then I'm just going to go back in with my foundation brush, and I'm just going to lightly stipple, like kind of like right where my foundation and my concealer are meeting each other under my eye, just to make sure everything is nice and blended out. So just with putting this under eye concealer on, I feel like it is helping to balance my skin a little bit better. And the more I look at this foundation, the more I feel like maybe this is just the color that I should be using. I'm starting to think that 25 might end up being a little too light for me, because this color, it's, to me, it is darker than my neck, but it just, I don't know, I like the way it looks. Yeah, to me, this is like, I feel like after I finish my whole face, this color is just gonna work for me. So, but we'll see. I'm going to set everything with the Pretty Vulgar setting powder. Like I said, there will be a setting powder that's going to come out with this foundation, but I didn't receive the setting powder. And I did forget to mention at the beginning of the video that I typically don't use foundation primer, which is why I didn't use one today. So I'm going to be using the Pretty Vulgar powder because this is my favorite powder right now. I'm going to take a damp sponge and I'm just going to dip it into the powder, and I'm going to use this to set my under eye with. I feel like I may have put on just a little too much of the powder on my under eye. I try to be very careful with powder on my under eye area because my under eye dries out really fast. Then I'm going to take my powder brush. This is the It Brushes for Ulta number 211. This is the one that I've been using lately to put powder all over my face. So I'm going to dip the brush into the powder and then dab that over the rest of my face. Okay, so this is what my face is looking like so far with all of my complexion products on, and I really like this so far. I can't feel anything on my face. It is really, really lightweight. I feel like it's just my skin on my face. And even though I did just set it with a powder, so it did get just a little bit mattified, I think that it's set down to a really nice natural finish. So far I am very happy. Usually I don't get all into foundations. Like I will try new foundations here and there, but I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself a foundation junkie. So honestly, if I were not sent this, I don't know if I would have purchased it because it cost $68, but now I feel like I can understand why some people do splurge on foundation because I really like this. I feel like I could see myself, you know, reserving this one for like really special occasions. I'm liking it so far. Okay, I'm gonna do my my brows in a very simple eyeshadow look off camera. Then we're gonna come back and finish up with bronzer, blush, and highlighter. I just want to keep showing y'all how all the products that I'm putting on my face, how they're working with the foundation. So I'm gonna do my eyes off camera and then I'll be right back. All right, I went ahead and did a very simple eye look because I'm going to work after I finish this. So I just wanted to show y'all the bronzer, blush, and highlighter that I'm going to be putting on today. So for bronzer, I'm using my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Endless Summer. This is the one that I use all the time, just so that we can see like how other products pair with this foundation. And I've been noticing when I was doing my eyeshadow that I feel like I can't stop looking at my face. I do really like this foundation. It's like a really nice, lightweight, just natural feeling, natural looking foundation. And I like it. It's really nice so far. But we are going to be doing a wear test today also. All right, I'm just going to go back in with my foundation brush one more time, and I'm just going to lightly dab over where I put the bronzer on my nose. I always do that just to kind of like soften the bronzer on the nose so that it doesn't look quite as harsh and like quite as defined. I like for my face to have a little bit of definition, but I don't really like a super like snatched look when I do my makeup. I do prefer it to be like more of like a natural look. For blush, I'm using my everyday one. This is the Note Cosmetics Luminous Silk Compact Blusher in Desert Rose. And I'm just going to dab that kind of like right underneath where I just put that bronzer. And just give my face like a nice flush of color for today. And so far so good with all of these other products, like blending out nicely on top of the foundation. And then for highlighter, I'm using a Girlactick blush. This is one of their star blushes in the shade Naples, but I have been using this lately as a highlighter. So this one, I'm gonna apply it like right on the high points of the cheek, and I feel like this highlighter you can see it, but it's still like really nice and subtle, which is why I've been using it lately. Put a little bit down the center of my nose, and then I'm also gonna put some right on my brow bone. I use a really big brush when I put highlighter on my brow bone because I actually prefer it when the highlighter like trickles down on the rest of my eyeshadow instead of it being defined or confined rather, like right up on my brow bone. I already went ahead and put mascara on, but I forgot that I didn't put my setting spray on yet, so I'm just gonna cover my eyes as best as I can, and I'm gonna set everything with the Rimmel Fix and Go primer and setting spray. And for my lipstick today, I'm using one of the Too Faced Natural Nude lipsticks in the shade Girl Code. Alright, so I'm going to keep my hair back behind my ears so that we can really get a good look at the face. So this is what the foundation is looking like with the rest of my makeup all done. And I really like this. I really like this foundation. I really can't relay like how just natural it feels. Like it just feels like this is my skin, but I have on a full face of makeup. Like I really like this foundation, and I do feel like this is a good shade for me. Again, shade 28. I feel like anything lighter would just end up looking too light on my face. Okay, so we are going to be doing a wear test. First impression wise, I'm very impressed with this foundation, but we're going to do a wear test. All right, so it is 7:19 a.m. and I am on my way to work, so I will be coming back at lunch. It'll be like around 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon or so, and then we're going to see what we're looking like. So I will see y'all in a little bit. Okay, so I'm back to give you guys an update, and it is now 12:43 in the afternoon, so I've had this foundation on for a little over 5 hours. I was trying to wear it for about 7 or 8 hours before I came back to give an update, but I'm not going to be able to do that, and I'm not sure how late I'm going to be out today, so I'm just going to do it now just in case I don't get a chance later on. But you can already see how my face is starting to get a little shiny, so let me take my glasses off. Okay, so you can see that I'm shiny in my T-zone, and this is always where I get shiny no matter what foundation I wear. However, I just can't believe how nice this foundation looks. I mean, yes, it is shiny, but you know, it held up all morning long. And like on my cheek areas where I feel like I'm not shiny, to me, it looks like I just put the makeup on, and I really like the way that it looks. I think it looks really nice. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a napkin and I'm gonna blot off my T-zone area, and then I'm gonna reset my face with a little powder, just so that we can see what it looks like when I refresh the makeup during the day. Okay, I think I'm also going to take a little bit more of my concealer, my Too Faced concealer, and I feel like because the foundation is a little bit darker than my skin tone, I feel like I need to add a little more concealer up here. So I said this morning that I never do this because when I apply concealer up here, I always feel like I put on too much, and then it's like very noticeable and just a lot harder to blend out. But I feel like I need to do this for today just to balance out my forehead a little bit, because the foundation is a little bit darker, and I also put bronzer on my forehead too, so maybe I should have done without the bronzer. Okay, so this is what my face is looking like after I blot off the excess oil, and I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of my Pretty Vulgar setting powder and just reset my face. And I'm actually not even going to touch my cheeks. I feel like my cheeks just don't have to be reset at all. So I'm just going to concentrate on my T-zone area. Yeah, and I think that we are good to go. So keep in mind, this is just the first impression because I've only had this on for about 5 hours. So I'm definitely going to wear it a couple more times so that I can include it in a full review at some point in the future. But overall, first impression, I do really like this foundation. And like I said earlier, I probably would not have purchased it if I didn't receive it, because it does cost $68. But I am really impressed with this. Let me know in the comments if you think I should stick with this shade or if you think I should try a lighter shade. I'm kind of torn. I was thinking about that all morning, and I don't know. I feel like I can definitely get away with this, but it is a little bit darker on my skin tone. But I feel like if I go lighter, it's just going to be too light. So let me know what you think. Again, this is the shade 28, and I'm thinking the shade 25 might be a better shade match for me. So yes, this does cost $68, but I do think it is really worth it. But keep in mind, I've only had it on for a few hours, but first impression wise, I do think it's worth it. If you're a foundation junkie, if you just love trying out new foundations as soon as they come out, I do think you would really like this. Even if you have oily skin like me, this isn't a mattifying foundation. It's supposed to be a natural finish foundation, and it's supposed to be very skin-like, and I definitely think that it is. It's very lightweight on the skin. It's very easy to blend out, and even though it's not supposed to be like a full coverage foundation, the description says sheer to medium coverage. I think it gives a good amount of coverage. I didn't try to build it up to full coverage, but I think this amount of coverage is pretty nice. So I'm really liking this foundation so far. I'm gonna wear it a couple more times over the next few weeks, but I think for the most part, I'm gonna reserve this for like special occasions. Like I don't wanna just keep wearing this every single day. So anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And I hope to see y'all back for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.